My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. All right, this is the evidence of Starbucks stalking. The fake sun is rising as they walk on the sidewalk, light activity while the shadows of their head. The entity is keeping the fake sun at 6:16 in the morning aimed directly on me. This is where it's still present. You remember Corey Watson is gang stalking at 6:33 a.m. Him and his demon-possessed partner monitoring. They're all stalking together. creating impossible light activity as they drive through it. And the entity is aiming light activity inside of the venue of here. That's how I'm able to capture light activity on the seats. This is ridiculously impossible light activity. As impossible as the demons opening and closing the door and then hitting me with light. It's all evidence of targeting, and you're going to prosecute the establishment as you're understanding a state surveillance system where the people of the state are gang stalking, monitoring your vagina in the bathroom, engaging in surveillance in the private spaces, and this is literally the P.O.C. This is how they're monitoring, and this is demonic pacing. This is serious demonic activity. And this is, again, that third party in particular engaging in gang stalking on a repeated level. So that's relevant to prosecuting the people of the state as their individual cases acting as an entity, and prosecuting Starbucks, which is facilitating, maintaining a crime scene for the people of the state and the government to come and engage in surveillance while Starbucks is profiting from it. You're also going to train the pockets for that. It is 6:17 a.m. The entity is keeping the fake sun in alignment to me while I'm at the Planet Fitness in Los Angeles, like I spoke to, like I documented yesterday in 2024. The entity is keeping the fake sun in Los Angeles, and it's reflecting off of the windows of Alvarado Gardens, which is also impossible light activity. I've documented that before. This is the conduct they're engaging in Los Angeles, where it's rising in alignment to me on the same street that it's present 12 hours from now. That's how I'm capturing it, documenting the gang stalkers of the Ontario Police Department at the same venue at 6:28 p.m. and at 6:22 p.m. This is evidence of stalking. It is seen through the environment. And the demon possessed are gang stalking on yet another day. And everybody working here. Amelia, Brian, Jackie. This is P.O.C. Here's my shadow. This is impossible light activity. And this is also relevant to an unlawful touching. They're going to be prosecuted as sex offenders. They're engaging in violence of the person in every way, including monitoring genitalia in bathrooms. This is P.O.C. This is Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun is still present at 6 in the evening, where the fake sun is still present at 12 in the afternoon, where the fake sun is still present at 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. All right, over this same venue. I'm looking at it, and it's remaining on this side of the cafe in alignment to me where I am positioned. Everybody is in here stalking and pacing around. It's psychopathic conduct. It's the outward demonstration of mental illness. While that's going to be exposed and studied, and this evidence is going to be used to diagnose and prosecute. This is criminal conduct of the Ontario Police Department that followed me around literally on video and in podcast. The Ontario Police is gang stalking right now. The psychopaths are being removed from law enforcement. This is P.O.C. Okay, Alana hitting with impossible light activity. The first time she hits in, the same third party. The 7XVG is the license plate. You can see her gang stalking with the fake sun in the background as I'm documenting her routinely engaging in the pattern of conduct and exhibiting mental illness while she is stalking with light. And that's psychopathic to engage in the passive-aggressive pattern of conduct. The demon-possessed engaging criminal monitoring, engaging in prolonged surveillance in the male restroom while I'm being attacked with impossible light activity. And the people of the state are engaging in what is stalking via traffic on Euclid Avenue. This is the same Euclid Avenue where the fake sun is present, like I documented at 6:28 p.m. This is plain gang stalking, and it is also the outward demonstration of the demon-possessed who are in a failed campaign with regard to gang stalking in a secretive manner. Everything that they're engaging in is exposed, and the entity that is gang stalking via the people of the state is also exposed. It's the same Ontario Police Department, City of Ontario, that is following me around last night in a helicopter, and they're following around while maintaining surveillance inside of the cafe. That impossible light activity that you saw is supernatural. Alana is a demon. She's also a third party. She's going to be prosecuted. This is P.O.C. She's gang stalking in the same exact specific environment, and she is gang stalking third party that's dropping her off, and at no point ever is driving outside going to result in light activity in here. They're engaging in the pattern of conduct. You can see this is they're openly stalking, and they're also engaging in what is attacking with light while they're opening and closing the door. This is P.O.C. It's currently 6:52 a.m. This is documentation of the prosecution of the corporation and the demons that Starbucks hires. They're going to be prosecuted for the sex offense of monitoring my vagina in the bathroom, doing so with the population, and exceedingly violent sex offense, and their mentally sick pattern of conduct of gang stalking inside of a cafe. This is P.O.C. It's 6:53 a.m. This is stalking with light. This is the significance of keeping a fake sun. We are at what is 8:51 a.m. This is the significance of Brian pacing in and out of the male's restroom, being surveillanced by the demons that are gang stalking, that engage in what is stalking, remaining inside of the cafe, pacing in and out of the bathroom with Jasmine, pacing in and out of the bathroom with Jackie, pacing in and out of the bathroom with the demons that employ 8VPT 908 is also a sex offender, stalking with light, turn signal, brake lights, under the fake sun that's at the same venue, okay? Remember what LAPD is doing. This is all plain view gang stalking conduct at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun is setting on this same street, 0.4 miles south on Euclid Avenue at the OVITT Family Community Library. What I documented this same population doing at 6:28 p.m., pacing under the fake sun, gang stalking together, opening up the bathroom doors, maintaining presence in the bathroom. This is psychopathic and demented stalking behaviors where criminal monitoring is underway. And they're gang stalking at the traffic lights. They're gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, who you see license 6GTH123, license 9BMV967, 8ZUW281, 8NWV202, stalked with impossible light inside of the cafe. All right, that's the entity that is in plain view, stalking with light, just like you see Starbucks employees like Patty, and they're exhibiting mental illness as an entity. This is the entity that is not going to still or establish any mental illness where they're conspiring to murder and kidnap in order to still under a fake conservatorship that Tracy Banks maintains. This is why Jason Isaac Phillips and Tracy Banks are going to federal prison. This is the entity gang stalking with the people of the state at nightfall using helicopter. All of that P.O.C. is underway inside of Starbucks, which is keeping the fake sun the indicator of state surveillance. This is P.O.C. Remember, stalking with light is the outward demonstration of mental illness, and it's demonic. These are demon-possessed gang stalkers and psychopaths doing it in a manner that's supposed to appear only on the surface as normalcy. They're all focused on me, and that's entirely psychopathic. You can tell by the impossible light activity. This is P.O.C. They're gang stalking in here and gang stalking all around. This is all they're doing is pacing. P.O.C. It is currently 10:03 a.m. It's Saturday, June 28, 2025, and the state of California, acting via the city of Ontario. This is a collection of highly unintelligent imps. These are demons who are caught red-handed and with their pants all the way down to their ankles while they are engaged in bare bones criminal conduct, which is fully exposed, and it is also exposing the mental illness of those that would persist in the way in which the entity is in the face of the evidence that they're literally monitoring. 7BNB 989 GV649, that's a handicap plate. License 8JKL425 4U68597. License 7XYM791. I already captured images of this vehicle a while ago, so they're engaged in surveillance. They're still stalking in the path. License 9FPP164. License 7G29333. License 8XSZ393. 8GKJ687. 9GLD958. And documenting again the same third party, license 8RUY267, not that one, 7LJV437. This is the same third party, however, this one right here. This is relevant for prosecution. The entity engaging in systematic, repeated gang stalking. They're keeping an eye on all the evidence. It's relevant to how the demon-possessed are going to be prosecuted. 8HNR252, an ongoing, repeat, systematic gang stalker acting in furtherance of murder and kidnapping with the corrupt police department that's chasing me down by helicopter like you heard and that you see on video. It's published on YouTube right now as of 10:05 a.m. This is a threat to my life while the people of the state are gang stalking, being mentally ill and doing so, putting a price over my head because they're gang stalking in order to conspire to steal my property, my real property, intellectual property, money, okay, which these psychopaths who are fully exposed, gang stalking, are not getting it. And so now you're just witnessing the mentally ill who are caught in what is a fact established hereby through the prosecution of the state of California that the United States government engages in targeting American citizens, and it is referred to in the vernacular as gang stalking. It is where the Ontario International Airport is providing evidence against every third party that I just documented. I'm gonna go through and get the whole parking lot. Chevron, Arco, they're gang stalking at 434 North Euclid Avenue. They're gang stalking at Chevron at 502 North Euclid Avenue. While the entity is stalking in the path, remember they're flying over me at the TABOR Professional Building, much northwest of this location, stalking in the path 7XQS156. And they're doing so while the Ontario Police Department is gang stalking.
and doing so again in furtherance of failing. So they're not stealing money. 9 POV 994 is somebody that you are stalking and monitoring and kidnapping, is not mentally ill, and you're not taking their property. Simple as that. But not only that, you're witnessing the mental illness of the gang stalker being fully exposed. BBPITA, or is that 8B? Hold on. At the drive-through window where the gang stalker Alana is present, BBPITA. All right, monitoring. These demons pacing inside of the cafe, riding motorcycles, I would surmise. They blaspheme the name of Christ while these Satan worshipers bear his name on their motorcycle jackets. License 26Y7341 and license GR8UNCL, literally wearing the name of Christ on them while they're engaging in the demon possession, the demon-possessed conduct of stalking under a fake sun and an engineer light. That's what Satan does, though. 6YRK419, 9TCS763. 5DNX 602, that's an employee. BE44N67, paper. That's on a white Dodge. License 8UQJ918, that's an employee. License 9PER939, 9MVY052, 7HDG757, City of Ontario gang stalker with all these demons who are purchasing beverages from the gang stalker Starbucks. The Ontario International Airport just confirmed that. With regard to the evidence that's already surrounding them, the entity is always incriminating itself. It's a straightforward prosecution for federal group stalking and monitoring in the state of California, courtesy of the City of Ontario. License 8TQL003, 6HOJ821, that's an employee. And it's currently 10:08 a.m. Remember, the entity already has the fake sun over me at 10 o'clock in the morning, like I documented. Today is the 28th, so I'm already at the OVITT Family Community Library. This is June 26th. So not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. License SIRSCAT. And everybody under that fake sun that's remaining over me is proof of who everyone is targeting, in addition to the blatant deviation with regard to the stalking that's while you're hovering over the sky space, over the buildings, creating noise in the sky space in doing so, and obviously not taking off from an airport en route to an actual destination pursuant to money paid for tickets to do so. That's the Ontario International Airport gang stalking, evident, proven by the fake sun that remains over me. The fake sun that's at the same venue where Alana is gang stalking under that fake sun at 6:51 a.m. 7MRE849. And she is exhibiting mental illness like her co-worker Patty is under the 6:34 a.m. fake sun, molesting with impossible light, KT2-4OV, KT2-4OV, that's a Florida plate, 8SHR807. This is P.O.C. Gang stalking, relentless with impunity, and the same with the demons of the Ontario Police, where you will see a wealth of evidence published on YouTube of the Ontario Police Department surrounded with evidence of gang stalking as well. And this corrupt police department has committed multiple kidnappings while gang stalking, which is the necessary requirement of disbanding. All right, that's a terrorist organization that is a threat to society. They are a threat to the public, and they are literally incentivizing the criminal conduct, the lawlessness that I'm exposing and that I'm subject to. That Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields are also you're going to federal prison. All right, sending people to attack someone like this because of money. They're going to federal prison. 9BSD645, 9DCU968. And license M2A2C. All right, so I'm gonna capture the fake sun over the Starbucks where it's over. Again, multiple things to pay attention to. I'm capturing it not only in 2021, but as of 2025 in this back parking lot. The fake sun is over at 4 p.m. in the same way that it is right now at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's 10:10 to be exact. The entity is gang stalking where I'm gonna leave right now, and at 11:08 a.m. the fake sun remains here because I remain here on June 19th, where the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking with the people of the state by threatening me, being in my face, using criminal summoning as a means to do so. They're exhibiting mental illness with that malicious pattern of conduct underway. That's the same malicious pattern of conduct where they committed kidnapping on May 29, 2025. They are going to federal prison. The entity's keeping the fake sun over me at this back parking lot that I'm going to capture right now, where I am here arriving during the 6 a.m. hour, and it is over this same back parking lot after it is necessarily moving and not being seen as it is when I remain inside of the cafe through the windows facing Euclid Avenue when I am facing the direction east, okay? That's moving with the fake sun speaking to who everybody is targeting, which the impossible light activity that this demon is creating while crossing path. License 9TUJ192 appears to be a Latino male. A lot of these demons who are immigrants, they're going to be deported. And it is literally a national safety concern. I definitely support Trump's policy with regard to deportation. There may be policies, this is what I will say, there may be policies that are rooted in racism that perhaps Mr. Trump perpetuates. There may be a lot of bias against him because there's question regarding what's the real impetus behind these policies. Are they inherently racist and whatnot? But what I will say is, regardless of that, what it is that I'm exposing in the state of California, regardless of how the Lord's will is accomplished, even if it is through a bigot that is, and I'm not stating anybody is a bigot, but even if it is through a bigot, which the Lord can use anybody, I want to be clear, he can use anybody and anything to accomplish his will. Even if it is through a bigoted policy with regard to removing those that are in this country, given a privilege to be here, and they're engaged in domestic terrorism as I am exposing it, threatening my life, targeting with a corrupt police department in furtherance of murder and kidnapping, doing so because they've been paid, they've been incentivized to chase me down day and night, molest me, monitor my vagina in the bathroom, do so with the entity that is obsessively, while they're aware that they are being documented, that's how obsessed they are, that's how delusional they are, even those that are subject to what may be or may not be some sort of bigoted policy. Those that are in this country provided a privilege to be here, they're gang stalking in California and they need to be deported. That's exactly how justice is going to be accomplished. And that's exactly what I support. And guess what? I don't have to talk to every immigrant that's in this country. The policy, the pattern of conduct is showing that in the environment and in the state of California, there is no exception. The exception is myself. And I'm not proud to state that. I wish I would have found an anomaly, an exception somewhere. Removing, even pursuant to what may or may not be a bigoted policy, will be removing domestic terrorists that do not belong in this country, and they are not welcome here. And if it is through Mr. Trump removing gang stalking immigrants, so be it. God bless him. Okay? License plate. It's 10:13 a.m. 8 UGA 565. They hate this country. They act with those that are natural born citizens. They act with those that are the same color as me. This is not about race. It's about exposing what's going on in the darkness. And by the way, there's a penalty to pay for it. There's a penalty to pay. And psychopaths engage in what I've documented. Oh, they engage in more violence as you expose them. No, you're going to be plucked out of this country, and I celebrate it. I clap my hands to it. They're out here murdering people, getting away with it, getting more benefits from the state. They're incentivized to come in this country while they're gang stalking with the government. And it's the heights of hypocrisy. They're supposed to pledge and promise to respect the Constitution and encourage what is being a law-abiding civilization. This is gang stalking. It's lawlessness. 7KKL876. Gang stalking immigrants are not welcome in the United States. 8TQL003. 26272 handicap. And I say, get out. While all the demons are listening to me document, that's a welcoming of Mr. Trump's policy to deport you. I don't even have to document you. You're getting out of this country. And praise God for it. It is currently, by the way, let me get the time. That's audible activity. It's 10:14 a.m. The fake sun remains over me while I am, let me go back and get the picture because I was going over Mr. Trump's policy. Let me go back and get the picture because the fake sun is over me while I just documented all the people of the state. The entities kept the fake sun as I'm documenting at 6:15 in the morning. I'm still at 507 North Euclid Avenue. The fake sun has not gone anywhere. They're all stalking. All right? And that's the entire population. Those that are immigrants, easily dealt with. Deportation and federal prison where the facts and circumstances support that, and deportation afterwards. And even as natural born citizens engage in the same gang stalking, understand that they're engaging in the same, as you are witnessing, for example, African Americans that are gang stalking me as you see them, blackface demons, it doesn't matter what their race is, all right? They're engaged in gang stalking me all the same. They hate me all the same, okay? They're targeting all the same. Understand that they are engaging in the pattern of conduct that every other resident in the state of California is engaging in. That includes the immigrant population. And yes, you can make that grand categorization when the entity is in the specific environment engaging in an identical pattern of conduct, which the state of California is. It's 10:16 a.m. License plate GABXVVY. Willing to take a federal case, stalk with impossible light. License plate, same pattern of conduct. while the fake son, she's driving by the dumpster, no light while she drives by the dumpster. That's how you know she's targeting and she's not a stranger. She's a stalker. 34533B4. P.O.C. Let me get the fake son while she's gang stalking in a drive-thru showing her mental illness. That's malice. This same third party, federal prison, while the entity of the Ontario Police Department is gang stalking in helicopter. That you already know is obviously targeting. 34533B4. GABXVVY, following me around while I'm walking from Euclid to Laurel last night, and the entity is gang stalking. The gang stalking immigrants are being deported. License 26277, handicap, P.O.C. I want you to listen to the helicopter activity. Because Corporal Tedosky, he's going to federal prison. Corey Watson, that's already, he's going to federal prison. The entity that's gang stalking under the fake son, as I document them, they're all going to federal prison. The crew of demons, those imbeciles at the OVITT Family Community Library at the 1:07 p.m. fake son, and it's about to be over me, at that OVITT Family Community Library, where it's not right now, where the Ontario police are gang stalking with the third parties that I identify, while they're obviously engaging what is targeting with regard to real-time knowledge of my documentation, which is equal to what is failure in a court case against the entity that conspired my death, seeking to criminally defame me about property that they never told me belongs to me, that they've been stealing. That's the Ontario police that's being disbanded. 9TUJ192, a Latino male. If that's not a natural-born citizen, deport him. You're not going to be engaging in terrorism in this country against American citizens born and raised here, ancestors from here. You're getting out of this country, and the Ontario Police Department's going to prosecute you. Their criminal activity prosecutes you. It is 10:18 a.m. under that fake sun where you hear the Ontario police gang stalking by helicopter. And nobody's forgetting that when you look at straight-faced psychopaths wearing the Ontario police uniforms under the fake sun that remains over my head. As I approach them, I put the faces of sex offenders, murderers, kidnappers, and stalkers, criminals wearing badges representing law enforcement on my camera in order to publish it on the internet, where I'm prosecuting on the internet, and I'm also going to prosecute in court. These imbeciles are totally failing. They have already failed. They've already lost with regard to targeting me with Tracy Banks, who was never going to win in any court case regarding a secret conservatorship. And she's going to federal prison, and so is Jason Isaac Fields. They've already forfeited that. The blatant stalking and targeting by the Ontario Police Department, you could not get any more imbecilic. You could not be any more obvious. You could not be any more corrupt. It could not be any more plain. They've already lost this court case. The entity is targeting, and now you're targeting, and other people are going to federal prison. That's an unlawful threat. This is what the entity does when they're living in a bubble. Nobody knows about the targeting that they're subject to. They disappear off the map. They're on a Dateline story, and you know nothing about gang stalking. Okay? License 8KRR404. And then you have gang stalking police departments like LAPD on Dateline, and you're listening to them pat themselves on the back for an investigation done well. They're a bunch of demons. They're corrupt. They're making money off of this corrupt system. 8XPK603, 8YZV804, 9EWB559. Fake sun remains over me as I walk past all these demons. They're all stalking. 8RXP496, 5ZVK607, 8CNP193, 67950 or 5DD. Hold on. This is a Utah plate. G795DD. That's a Utah plate. And they're all gang stalking with the Ontario police that just confirmed it for you, like the Ontario International Airport just confirmed it for you, flying over East Street in Euclid, where the fake sun is over me in that same parking lot where it's there after 4 p.m., after 6 p.m., after 7 p.m. Let me show you another demon gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. Alrighty, the light source over me at 10:20 a.m. And it's not over Starbucks anymore, and it's remaining over the top of my head while crossing path, which is stalking 9M GZ536 LLFAM7, who was gang stalking at the Ontario downtown apartments last night under the 6:28 p.m. fake sun. I documented him on podcast. That's an African-American male stalking me specifically. There's no coincidence under the fake sun. 9SIH043, 8UTD013, 8SKY837, 8692R63, 85096U2. License 6HTM775, 60118V2, 8DHX072. And this is the entity that thought that they were going to end that. Obviously, they had to do it secretly. You had to. to try to defame my character as though I am not sharper than, and this is not bragging, but this is just the reality. All of these demons are caught red-handed in an idiotic system, and I'm choking the life out of them with it, with common sense and logic and legal reasoning. You could not, in my face, ever defame me, seriously. And I want to be clear, where I'm at right now is the U.S. Bank, where the demon from Unit 41 in the used black BMW, where the entity kept the fake sun rising and setting, and he was gang stalking in the afternoon while I'm walking toward this venue. And the Ontario police already know where I'm at, while the people of the state are stalking step by step in concert with the police, exhibiting their corruption and their mental illness. They're psychopaths, raging psychopaths, who are not very good at concealing it. They like to use the helicopter activity to communicate it, but it's not ambiguous and it's not mysterious. They're going to be yanked out of those helicopters because those demons are going to mental asylums and federal prison. They're going to produce the names of the demons stalking me as I document, and the federal government is watching who's stalking in helicopters, who is engaging in what is using that heliport, who is engaging in what is reporting their use of the helicopters. They're going to produce all of that, and you're going to prison. You're going to mental asylums while I document you pacing in circles over me, following me around the city. There's no mystery. They're not flying over targeting everybody. They're targeting me. And the specific environment proves it. License plate. And the pattern of conduct by multiple law enforcement agencies proves it. 7ZXZ840, Ontario International Airport gang stalking. And I'm at the same intersection where Woodside Senior Apartments resident number 41 is gang stalking while I'm en route to the OVITT Family Community Library, which I am today, hours earlier, where the fake sun is moving hours earlier, okay? That's the pattern of conduct that the demons under the 1:07 p.m. fake sun, the Ontario Police Department gang stalking in helicopters, are engaging in that. And every single last one that I document, they're going to federal prison. That's domestic terrorism. They are waiting for an opportunity to literally, but I'm going to be blatant and graphic because this is the reality of what they want to do. They want to blow my brains out. It's not going to happen, and they're looking for that opportunity, but I'm documenting. And there's no mystery about what's going on minute by minute. 9MOR 983, nor would there ever be a question about who was targeting. From the beginning, by the way, 00045E4, and you're going to federal prison for gang stalking, creating that threat in the first place. This is a demon opening and closing their door while I get their back license plate. This is a Caucasian male, P.O.C. It's relevant to stalking with audible activity. It's monitoring conduct, and it's demonic. It's also mentally sick behavior. This is the entity that's gang stalking under the 10:23 a.m. fake sun. That's 00045E4. That's the demons who are, again, projecting their mental sickness. They're embarrassed and they're hostile, while their demon possession and their criminal conduct and their sickness, their perversion, their obsession with me, which they never wanted to be made public, is being exposed. I'm certainly not offended by a gang stalker that's obsessed with my vagina, that's monitoring my every move, that's counting how many times I breathe in and breathe out and how many times I blink and what direction I'm looking in. No, I'm not offended at all when you're stalking me, okay? It is currently 10:24 a.m. and I'm at the same U.S. Bank where, again, this is how I'm capturing an ongoing pattern of conduct of stalking by an entity. And that demon from Unit 41 is under this fake sun where I'm walking to the OVITT Family Community Library like I am now with the City of Ontario that's sounding plain activity, stalking as I walk down Euclid Avenue. And it's also evidence against everybody that I'm continuously documenting, all the establishments as they remain in relevant position, Gloria's Cochinas, all of the businesses, the Arco, the Chevron, the Ontario downtown apartments, and that's just on this street. The entire city is gang stalking as that fake sun remains over me, and everybody in every establishment in every building is crossing path. This is massive monitoring. License 5HAB 862. While the entity sounds plain activity, license 8LXM 905, and the entity is engaging in what is audible activity that's supposed to be defamatory. That's the entity speaking. That's literally Satan. Satan is being prosecuted for everything that's coming out of his face. Okay, Satan uses black people, white people. Satan uses Latino people. Satan uses who are vacant, hollowed out zombies. They're demon-possessed gang stalking. Engaged in criminal summoning with the Ontario Police is license ISH4X4. They were engaged in criminal summoning at the Unicare Healthcare Center as I documented Ontario Police gang stalking under the fake sun as I walked out getting criminal summoning. That was a few days ago. Today is the 28th. That was approximately the 25th. Yeah, that was June 25th. This is 333 North Euclid Avenue where you'll see the fake sun over me. It's currently 10:26 a.m. You'll see the fake sun in the same position that it is over me 3 hours earlier, where the demon in unit number 41 driving the black BMW on video, gang stalking, Impossible light activity at Woodside Senior Apartments, where the entity never moved that fake sun, where the Ontario International Airport was flying over that senior citizen complex, where the entity was gang stalking by the Ontario Police Department, flying in circles over me, flying in circles over that apartment building, doing so while that fake sun was over the top of my head, and they're exhibiting severe mental illness and also delusion. That's relevant to their mental illness, while I captured video after video, and they continue to do that, and they're engaging what is facing all that evidence while they're still stalking day and night with the people of the state who are going to federal prison. Everybody in units 33 through 64, federal prison. This is the pattern of conduct that they were engaging in. License 7LQT433, 9PYP253, 96187L1, 7ZTR803, 9LOP423. That's P.O.C. Stalking as a population identified through an environment that is supernatural. And also LAPD is adding to the evidence against the gang stalkers in Ontario, California, foolishly stalking in commercial planes, which is an obvious means of identifying targeting, because the Ontario International Airport has no business even being heard when they're taking off from the terminals. License 9DVP949. They're stalking, and they're stalking in a body of evidence where you will see gang stalking at the same location by commercial planes in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, as I've been documenting these stalkers who are very highly unintelligent, short-minded, and more obsessed with me than they are strategic. That's the prosecution of an airport. Alan D. WAPNER is being removed from office. He's a demon-possessed fake Jew. Don't be deceived by some headpiece that Satan puts on his head. He's a demon, and he worships my vagina. Like everybody else that's monitoring in a bathroom where the city of Ontario engages in surveillance. That's what sex offenders do. Sex offenders do that. Sex offenders who are obsessed with you. Everything about you, including my vagina. License plate 9SYH150. Wells Fargo is gang stalking. The Ontario downtown apartments are gang stalking. I got the Ontario Police gang stalking at 6:22 and 6:28 p.m. The fake sun's in the same position that it is yesterday evening. This is how unintelligent these are. No white-faced demon that's stalking me under a cartoon environment is insulting me. It's audible activity that I'll prosecute you for. Okay? This is what a police department is gang stalking by. This is, again, the imbecilic conduct. They're engaged in stalking, and their mental illness is all over the internet while they stalk with light. Psychopaths, monitoring, demons, 6RYT 574. It is currently 10:29 a.m. Let me show you this fake sun that's in the same position it was on video at 6:22 p.m. And the people of the state are engaging in the same role. They're pacing. These are demons. You cannot see them in the spirit. I'm giving you a translation because they're actually creepy, disgusting, hideous figures who are cockroaches pacing all around me. It's the spirit of Satan, and I'm prosecuting Satan in the physical. He's using every single last person that's engaging in an identical pattern of conduct. Their behavioral pattern is based on demon possession. The specific environment is demonic. This is a scene, and it's identified as a crime scene to prosecute every single last one of them. It is currently 10:29 a.m. and LAPD is maintaining the specific environment in Los Angeles, a whole different area, which is also how you prosecute targeting by a government that's stalking an American citizen that came here to prosecute them and identify them as the demons that they are. It is currently 10:29 a.m. This is P.O.C.
All right, audible activity is being maintained in the private space where the same entity that's stalking under a fake sun is gang stalking in the bathroom. The entity is engaging in what is the pattern of conduct on the first level where the fake sun is still present at the OVITT Family Community Library. It is the same city of Ontario that's engaging in the sex offense of stalking in a bathroom and maintaining the elements of monitoring, including stalking with activity creation. This is P.O.C. And I want to be clear, this is the conduct that people like Sean Thrasher, they're going to be subject to a prosecution for the ongoing harassment and sexual violence that he is engaging in while seeking to obstruct justice. As I document this, such sexual violence it's not about relieving yourself, it's about the elements of monitoring. And these are the psychopaths stalking with light who are then in the bathroom stalking. It's currently 5:48 p.m. P.O.C. Just as a note, while a demon is engaging in what is activity creation in a bathroom, which is a method of harassment by very petty and mentally ill psychopaths that are obsessed with my vagina, bathroom monitoring is one of the embarrassing and sexually perverted bases of disbanding the Ontario Police. I want to be clear, this demon flushes the toilet as I start documenting on my phone. It's why the Ontario Police is being disbanded for bathroom monitoring. This is P.O.C.
All
Alrighty, that is what you're seeing is stalking in the bathroom, and it's one of the petty resources of the gang stalkers stalking in helicopters, stalking as a whole police department, monitoring my vagina, hostile because I put it all over the internet, and it's a part of the prosecution of the state of California that they're sex offenders that engage in surveillance in bathrooms. And you have what is a African-American female who's merely ruffling paper, and every time I start documenting on my phone, she flushes the toilet, which is activity creation, and engineer light that is inside of the bathroom, and they're all engaged in what is monitoring my vagina. Bathroom monitoring is a basis for removing Mike LORENZ from law enforcement and disbanding that demon-infected agency for being obsessed with my vagina. It's currently 5:53 p.m. where the fake sun is over the OVITT Family Community Library, and you'll see the evidence of what is bathroom monitoring that I just documented. Again, the OVITT Family Community Library is a long documented sex offender. This is P.O.C. Helicopter activity at 6:01 p.m. where the Ontario police are monitoring my vagina while stalking in the bathroom. The fake sun is sitting over the same library where it was where I arrived this morning, and they're doing it pursuant to Title 18. I want you to hear that, because every gang stalking police officer that I document is going to prison. And this was what they were doing last night, following me as I was walking back to the TABOR professional building. And they're flying helicopter where the fake sun is still at the same address, 215 E.C. Street. The Securitas, third party wearing the Securitas uniform, he's gang stalking, which is a threat. He gets on the elevator with me after monitoring my vagina. That's a sex offender who was stalking me with the police who fly over in helicopter as I commence putting that sexual offense onto the internet for my own protection and to corroborate the ongoing disbanding, the federal prosecution, the federal imprisonment of every gang stalking officer with the Ontario Police Department. Okay, it's currently 6:02 p.m. There's no coincidences there. The fake sun will be published, and it's over the same building that it was as I approached this morning at 10 o'clock. That same parking garage, that's P.O.C. It's currently helicopter activity is occurring where I am on the side of the OVITT Family Community Library, and the people of the state are also sharing in that sex offense, and they're also sharing in that ongoing threat. That's called amplification. It's very demonic. Very demonic. Everybody inside of the OVITT Family Community Library is gang stalking as well. Just want you to see where the Ontario police are concentrating the helicopter activity. They're flying right next to the fake sun. And they're right here over me where I'm located, and the fake sun is right here in alignment to me where I'm located. And this is where the fake sun is located, by the way. When you're looking at that illusion, it's over the same position it is when I'm standing at that parking garage inside of it at 10:13 a.m. It's at the same position when I arrived yesterday at 1 o'clock, and the band of demons of that same Ontario police who are going to federal prison, all three of them, they're going to federal prison, gang stalking into the fake sun that's in the same position, and they were just monitoring my vagina, and as I publish it online, just like they were last night, monitoring my evidence, and then following me back to the TABOR professional building. Now they're engaged in flying in a circle, gang stalking, proven through the specific environment. They're stalking me in particular, and this is what LAPD is doing under the fake sun that's remaining over Alvarado Gardens as well, which is what I documented on this day in 2024. Mike LORENZ is being removed from law enforcement. They are being disbanded for monitoring my vagina, for bathroom monitoring, that embarrassing and sexually perverted pattern of conduct where surveillance is underway in bathrooms. It's why the Ontario police is being disbanded, and they're stalking in a helicopter under the fake sun at 215 E.C. Street at 6:03 p.m. Everybody working inside of this library, they're going to federal prison. They've been engaged in sexual violence for years. They've been engaged in criminally threatening conduct to obstruct justice for years. They've been engaged in gang stalking and federal stalking for years. They've been engaged in more than one kidnapping for years. It's P.O.C. at 6:03 p.m., 6:04 p.m. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:22 p.m. The entity is engaged in ongoing circling over the OVITT Family Community Library. As of right now, the helicopter activity just stopped. The entity, the City of Ontario sounds sirens, which is criminal summoning, targeting me as the fake sun remains over me at the same OVITT Family Community Library. And it's proven that I'm being targeted because this is why the entity is keeping a fake sun over me in another location that I documented same time of year, which is Los Angeles. LAPD's criminal engagement and gang stalking is further confirmation that I am the specific individual, apart from my documenting the City of Ontario gang stalking me, which is sufficient to prove that. But there is, again, multiple departments engaging in the same pattern of conduct, and it is centered around my vagina. So the Mike LORENZ is engaged in the ritualistic conduct of pacing around, especially while I'm physically indisposed, engaging in private activity in a private space, and that is the perpetual sex offense, as I have termed it. And it is occurring in an environment where surveillance is underway, which is sexually perverted and predatory conduct, which is entirely illegitimate with regard to a government's maintenance of surveillance. And surveillance is already unconstitutional. This is the sex offense committed by the gang stalkers of the Ontario Police Department, who were gang stalking, as you'll recall, under the fake sun, 0.4 miles away on the same street, Euclid Avenue, this morning while I was documenting the people of the state, the same thing, and the entity that is engaged in surveillance, lacking self-control, demonstrating mental illness and corruption for criminal monitoring. Also relevant, the entity sought to criminally defame by repeatedly kidnapping and trying to artificially engineer mental illness when they are stalking me and they are making up information about me. That's the department that's monitoring my vagina. That's the department that's engaging in surveillance. That's the department that's targeting with the people of the state, all of whom are demon possessed and are stalking in a demonic environment that is as obvious as the fake sun being over me at 10 this morning at 507 North Euclid Avenue while I'm documenting, and the entity flies over by helicopter. That's the pattern of engaging in obstruction of justice as I enforce my rights and document the government that's monitoring me, gang stalking me, in furtherance of murder and kidnapping me, because they want to steal through a fake and secret conservatorship property and money that they will not get, that they're going to federal prison for stealing in the first place. And monitoring my vagina as one of the sexually perverted and extreme methods of targeting and psychologically torturing and sexually traumatizing someone, and doing so with the people of the state who you hear amplifying audible activity. They're all stalking me and monitoring me under the fake sun where they're pacing all around. All right, in the entity stalking in helicopter, you'll see that on video, and you will also hear it on the podcast like you just heard, and the entity continuously engaged in that. The city of Ontario engages in what is then pacing around using the emergency vehicles, gang stalking me while they are engaging in what is waging a threat. That's legally analyzed as an unlawful threat by the gang stalking public entity with the intent to obstruct justice in concert with the people of the state, proven through the maintenance of a fake sun and engineered light and the body of evidence that is consistent on an ongoing basis. This is the same police department that followed me as I went from Euclid Avenue to Laurel last night. That was literally following step by step, street by street, turn for turn, like the fake sun does when I'm in a vehicle, when I'm on Omnitrends, when I'm in my car, when I'm in Tracy Banks's car, and I'm documenting the fake sun literally turning it. That's what the demons were doing. The demon-possessed entity that's stalking in helicopters, their identities are going to be produced. They are subject to federal prison. And it's relevant to the gang stalking officers with the Ontario Police Department because it's the same pattern of conduct, and they are going to prison for stalking me and engaging in what is psychological torture in front of everyone, because those terrorists presuppose that you would never know what they're actually engaging in and how they engage in it. Stalking someone in a malicious manner is not supposed to be identified by you. You're supposed to be looking at everything like normal. It's a normal circumstance, and the target individual is hallucinating, is paranoid, is making up information, is mentally ill. They're going to federal prison for that. All right, it is currently 6:26 p.m. where the entity engages in the pattern, which you will also see on YouTube, the related content of what they committed in June of 2025, post-kidnapping. We are at over 80 videos of the Ontario Police providing evidence of their demon possession, their engagement in criminal monitoring, their sexually perverted obsession with my vagina, stalking me in bathrooms throughout the city of Ontario, and following me around every day and every night, ceaselessly, and doing that in concert with the people of the state. This is specifically the video, I'll remind you, while I am documenting, I believe this is documented 6:42 p.m. The fake sun is remaining in alignment to me at Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. By the way, the fake sun was over me at that Starbucks where Alana is gang stalking me, a psychopath. That's mental illness that she's exhibiting, which every other employee there and all the people of the state are as well, while engineered light, which is the proof of their criminally monitoring me under the fake sun that's remaining on the same street as you look at the big picture of the fake sun remaining between Starbucks and OVITT Family Community Library, 0.4 miles apart from one another, and the pattern of the Ontario Police Department gang stalking me with the intent to obstruct justice, that is intimidating, harassing, terrorizing me with stalking by helicopter in particular, as I enforce my rights and document, and which is evidence of the government monitoring me, targeting me, stalking me.
doing so in concert with demons such as Tracy Banks and the rest of the people of the state, such as those that are working at Starbucks, going by the name of Alana, who's under the fake sun at 6 o'clock, 6:51 to be exact, and she's entering into the Starbucks and stalking me with light, which is the evidence of mental illness, like the entity is doing now while I'm seated under a shaded structure on the side of the OVITT Family Community Library, and the demon-possessed people of the state know exactly who I am and who are stalking, and they're also stalking with light. They're stalking as an entity, which is exhibiting mental illness, and they're also stalking with light, exhibiting mental illness. And the P.O.C, the evidence of gang stalking against the state of California, the evidence against the people of the state who are documented, the evidence against the government, including those working for the Ontario Police Department. The evidence of the P.O.C is going to be used to both diagnose. Mental examinations are going to be built into what is the rehabilitation of the mentally sick population that's gang stalking throughout California, as I have proven that which I am subject to. And this is the entity's abysmal failure in trying to artificially engineer mental illness, which no state is ever going to do again, because this is also setting precedent for what states in the U.S. shall not be able to do, which is take the property from another American citizen based on the assertions of a government that is incapable, not trustworthy, since surveillance is underway, which I've proven. And amongst the surveillance system, gang stalking, targeting systems exist with regard to the conspiracy to artificially engineer mental illness in order to then falsely depict the character such that somebody that has wealth, somebody that has property that the entity wants to steal through gang stalking, which is, again, malicious conduct, because actual mental illness is not diagnosed or identified or adjudicated over through gang stalking, the conduct of a corrupt government. And since this is what California has done, no state shall be able to do this against any American citizen. And the inability to control the defendant, that is the Ontario Police Department, their inability to control themselves, that is proven through what is blatantly stalking. You're understanding the fake sun is the evidence, the proof of stalking me in particular. The inability to control themselves and provide that level of direct evidence against themselves and the entire state of California, which is informative with regard to the rest of the country, that is your evidence of the mentally ill psychopaths who have been monitoring my vagina for years, who have been stalking me for years, who have been engaged in an unabated program of psychological torture for years, and they're demons. That's what you need to know. And you also know that because the fake sun is in the same position it was this morning when the Ontario Police Department were chasing me down with helicopter from Starbucks to the OVITT Family Community Library. And it incriminates every other person as well. Okay, and I documented many of them by license plate today. It is currently 6:30 p.m. where the city of Ontario is stalking with commercial planes. And this is, again, mental illness exhibited. Those that are engaging in stalking in planes and stalking in helicopters will not only be diagnosed, but they will be federally prosecuted, and it is the basis of federal prison. This is criminal monitoring while you are documenting the terrorism. And this is something that the president, this is something that any federal government is going to directly address. It's impunity and malice. And this is after they've already lost the wager on my life. They've already lost the secrecy. They've already lost what is the ability to steal my property in any courtroom. This is P.O.C. at 6:31 p.m. That's the Ontario International Airport, to be exact, and every single airline, not just Delta, not just American Airlines, not just Amazon, UPS, and FedEx, not just United. The entity is gang stalking through every airline associated with the Ontario International Airport, and the city of Ontario is gang stalking, including at the airport, which I also have evidence proving. The entity is deviating far from any terminal where you're not going to hear any planes, and they certainly won't be flying over the Ontario Town Square, over Euclid Avenue, over the 280 North Lehman, which are senior apartments. They're doing so under the fake sun. They're doing so pursuant to creating audible activity. And this is the same Ontario Police Department that's still gang stalking when they're going to federal prison. Evidence of their mental illness. They are a threat to themselves and the public. And that they is a reference to the demon-possessed who are gang stalking in the United States. It's 6:32 p.m. And this is all rooted from the sex offensive monitoring in a bathroom, obsession with my vagina. And that is the basis of disbanding the Ontario Police Department. This is P.O.C. 8:23 p.m. License plate. Gang stalking on Euclid Avenue. Stalking as I walk. Arco is stalking. License 8SO4372. License Oh, I took a picture of a Tesla. They're stalking. I'll document it. Well, it'll be uploaded to the Google Drive, but white Tesla at D and Euclid. Stalking, molesting. And that's what's stalking in the bathroom as well. All monitoring my vagina, stalking step by step all day long. 71416J3. 8L99316. 8VDL977. 8EOY221. And this is Arco at 434 North Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun is remaining over this street, and they're making money while gang stalking with the government. That's all audible activity, relevant positioning, light activity. The people of the state gang stalking with the government. All engaged in federal stalking, Title 18 surveillance. And they all commit a sex offense as one as well, while one demon enters in on behalf of the state to monitor my vagina in the bathroom. They're all aware of what's going on in the bathroom together. That's the egregious sex offense that the Ontario Police is being disbanded for. And they deserve to be embarrassed for not only stalking and the mentally sick ways that they have, but for also worshiping my vagina in doing so. It's currently 8:25 p.m. WSN 7KEV 992 42447P3 99JR 857 and 9RXY 811. This is stalking as I'm at Euclid and E Street at 8:26 p.m. Walking west on Euclid Avenue, the same intersection where the entity is stalking. As I'm documenting under the fake sun, it's back at the Starbucks. That's where I'm at. This is P.O.C. All right, you will see the meeting conduct. That's a stalker. In the path with light, 7BMH 679 at 507 North Euclid Avenue. Stalking with the business Starbucks and stalking with everybody at Starbucks. And that's just the establishment that I'm prosecuting. That's the people of the state. The city of Ontario is gang stalking. P.O.C. Flashing of light all over the Starbucks. That's all. Again, the sex offenders gang stalking. P.O.C. It is 8:27 p.m. All right, the gang stalking that's happening outside is underway right inside of the building. Hi. That's Starbucks not acknowledging me and acknowledging the gang stalkers that get in line behind me. That's funny. Hi, Catherine. How are you? I have a question. You guys have any more of the anything on the menu? Because I see you cleared out everything. So.
It depends on what you want. We are sold out on some of the things.
So what about the ones that say all day?
Some of them we are sold out of.
So what don't you have then? The sausage cheddar, the what else? The pesto? Okay. So you have the jalapeno chicken pocket? You do have that? Can I get a jalapeno chicken pocket, please? And that'll be it right now. All your pastries are gone. So
I have some of them.
I guess it's fine. Thank you though. How much are these?
I can check that for you.
Thank you.
They're really good.
They're healthier too.
I like them. They're $2.25. $2.25?
Oh, same thing with kind bar. Okay, I'm gonna buy one. Not right now. I'm gonna buy this tomorrow though. Now that I don't have these. Okay. Thank you. That'll be. I'll just get the. Can I get a cup of ice with that too, please?
Just ice?
Yeah, just ice.
What's your name?
Erica.
Erica. It will be $3.95.
$3.95.
What was that?
Oh, wrong card. You're so quiet. I can barely hear you.
I lost my voice, so I could barely.
Oh.
Scan it one more time. Keep your receipt.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll have it right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Alrighty. Meeting and the path surrounding in the bar. Alrighty, you will clearly see engineer light inside a Starbucks where they are surrounding me as I'm moving inside of the cafe. License 8TTG 520, 9HRN 357, 7ZPT 160, 8ALA 121, 8ALA 121. Alright, going into the drive-thru, stalking in the path, acting with the demons that are inside of the cafe, stalking in the path with the demons that are all outside, the ones that I just documented, some of him, because obviously I'm not documenting all the thousands of people gang stalking me right now in relevant position. License 9CTC435. This is all state action. This is going toward the prosecution, the removal of people from office, the prosecution, the disbanding of the police, the federal imprisonment of those gang stalking, the entity that's incentivizing this sort of terrorism, such as Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields. License 8BCL838, P.O.C. It's 8:33 p.m. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shadows outside. We're the one you see stalking at the cafe, 8ALA121. By the cafe, I mean at the opposite end of the bar, after you hear me take an order from Catherine where she's monitoring me. And I'm surrounded by the demons that were molesting with light outside as they stand behind me. And then as I walk to the opposite end, and that demon is stalking in the path, that's surrounding conduct by demons. That's his license plate. P.O.C. Remember, the context is a specific environment. It's P.O.C. All right, what you see uploaded to the Google Drive is demonic pacing pursuant to the maintenance of audible activity, and they're all in engineer light, and they're acting with the demons that are pacing all around the venue that I'm inside of together as well. Those are demons in traffic stalking me. Well, their mental illness is exhibited there. It's a circus environment while they're pacing in and out of the bathrooms. They're doing pursuant to the demonic synchronicity. Starbucks employees, courtesy of the audible activity that those demons create, walking in and out of the establishment, walking by me, back and forth, pacing in and out of the bathrooms, doing so while they are monitoring. And again, Starbucks is profiting from gang stalking. That's exactly why you're going to civil and criminally prosecute. It's 8:52 p.m. and that's the significance. It's monitoring. So what you're aware of and what I'm capturing are merely the identity of the entity that's engaging in what is, it's like double dutch. They take their turns engaging in what is pacing, and they're doing so pursuant to what is centered, it's all just centered around coffee and heavy bathroom use. Because it's where I'm sitting in the cafe, so everybody goes straight to the bathroom. Ordinarily though, this is what I've been stating, a Starbucks cafe where they have the drive-thru, people aren't sitting up it's 2025, people don't even have conversations, they text. They're on social media. Everybody is centered and focusing and sitting inside of the cafe and all of a sudden cherish more connection with each other because they're gang stalking. What you're going to pay attention to is that all these sex offenders are under the fake sun while light is flying all over the place. They're psychopaths. And they're also highly unintelligent. Okay? It's currently 8:52 p.m. That's the significance of what I'm capturing. All they're doing is pacing and engineer light, and the maintenance of noise is what you're cognizant of as you're looking at the images of the people of the state. P.O.C. All right, Ontario PD gang stalker with paper plate EE49K31. And this gang stalker that's at the Kids Empire and at the gym at 130 West Street, from across the street, this Asian male, in operation of his device, he was gang stalking me at the OVITT Family Community Library. His license is 8MBB648. He's applying for the Los Angeles Police Department, not surprisingly. He's a sex offender, he's a demon. And he's molesting me with impossible light. And this is another female with kids gang stalking as well. P.O.C. All right, there's my shadow. Multiple shadows. Reaching all the way across the street where my Where my property is? That's not headlights. That's a demon. And that is documented at OVITT Family Community Library. He's creeping in the middle of the dark, in the middle of the night, knowing exactly who I am. And he also did when he was stalking inside of the library. This appears to be the Asian male that I documented, and he was talking to me about applying for the gang stalkers of the LAPD as well. Just want to note that additional fact. This is the sex offense. Ontario PD is being disbanded for this. You have males and women's, demons alike, sex offenders alike, monitoring my vagina alike, stalking in the dark alike, stalking with light under the fake moon. All right, that I just took a picture of. This is P.O.C. And that's what you're going to pay attention to, because you'll see, oh, there's the fake moon right there. This is P.O.C. These are demons. That's the federal offense of gang stalking, the entity gang stalking with helicopter, gang stalking with the people of the state. That's a psychopath, and your headlights are not going to reach across the street to engage in that brightness that touched all over my body while I'm across the street. And you also know because of the multiple shadows that I have. This is P.O.C. This is the sex offenders that are stalking me in bathrooms. These are the demon-possessed gang stalking. This is why Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks are going to federal prison. Nathan Morgan, C. Torres, L. Martinez, and B. Hook are going to federal prison. Gang stalking police officers that I document under the fake sun, federal prison. The people of the state gang stalking with the police sharing in the elements in real time, federal prison. This is P.O.C. This is the outward demonstration of mental illness. These are demons stalking in the path with light in the engineered environment. This is demonic activity. This is P.O.C. It's gang stalking. All right, the video you just listened to is the same pattern of conduct that the people of the state engage in. Woodside Senior Apartments, license. Oh, I can't really see that one. Woodside Senior Apartments gang stalking coming out of the apartment complex. All 144 units gang stalking. 302 and 408 West G Street. While I'm approaching the intersection, the video you just listened to, and what you can see with regard, it's ominous stalking. These are demons that are monitoring. Monitoring is pursuant to what is stalking somebody, and you are stalking with also the element of light. And it's very demented behavior that is shared by the police department, shared by the government that's monitoring. But this is the disbanding of the Ontario Police. So what I'm showing you the people of the state are doing is exactly what I'm showing you is the Ontario Police doing. And it's very sick behavior. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's so demented, and you're witnessing literally bare bones, like raw footage of mental illness. And you have what is a male sitting in a car with a female. They probably came from two different places, did not have a conversation, sitting in the parking lot stalking me together. They don't have meetings. These are the demon possessed, and they know exactly who I am. The fake moon is relevant to that knowledge, proof of that knowledge. The engineer light, the fact that my shadow stands next to each other while you have your headlights on that are aimed directly on me as I'm at that position on the sidewalk, that's also not a coincidence. And the fact of my distance and your headlights are not going to be that blinding. And that's why I went to go document that. It's severe mental illness when you're looking at the entity that is stalking with light. That's the element of monitoring, which the demon-possessed practice. And what the Ontario Police Department don't want to be known, which is already known, is that they're not only corrupt, they're corrupt because they are demon-possessed. They are, all of them, have the spirit of Satan in them, and you're witnessing how that's a threat to the public, how that's a threat where any government agency is that mentally demented. And the people of the state demonstrate that. This stalking with light conduct is absolutely demonic, meaning it's of Satan, meaning it is out of hell. And if you don't care about that, you need to know that it's criminal. It's pursuant to surveillance. But you should care about it because the demon-possessed, they engage in murders and rapes and pedophilia. They engage in all manner of sick and depraved things, which you would care about. And it is relevant with regard to what is the condition, what is this rooted in? It's rooted in Satanism. And these people are in the parking lot. This is what's also laughable. They're in their parking lot, stalking me, molesting me with light, engaged in federal stalking. You'll see the female, she locks her doors like I'm going to break into her car, like I'm concerned with her. I'm documenting her gang stalking me. That's the delusional psychopath that uses name calling because they're relying on what is the outward appearance of the thing, while the entity, all of the entity is interested and invested in artificially engineering mental illness in order to steal my money, steal my property. Obviously, I'm showing you what they're doing and what the purpose behind their tactics, but their tactics are, they've already lost. They have already lost they've already lost. So anyway, this is what, that's what's so disturbing about the entity that is very, very delusional. I want to be clear, it's the spirit of Satan that inspires everything that they're doing. So you're looking at the person and the things that they're doing and what their facial expressions, what their behavior is supposed to convey to you as you observe it. And then you're looking at and aware of the actual substance and the malice behind it. And I want you to be clear, it's Satan that inspires that sort of behavior that's also very deceptive. This is the same thing, and this is why gang stalking police officers go to federal prison, because they engage in that same conduct when they are threatening you, stalking you, bearing guns, bearing all manner of weapons, engaging in what is stalking, molesting your person, sexual violence, psychological torture, threatening you in a malicious manner that's not supposed to be readily identified, and then they behave as though you're threatening them in one way or another, which is what they use in order to take the lives of American citizens, murder them. It's murder, all right, while they're engaged in the pattern of conduct. Gang stalking police officers go to federal prison. That's what my documentation supports. This is what justice requires. While the feds are, you're watching everything that I'm exposing, and you also know why they're gang stalking me. You have a whole full knowledge, some of which I'm sure I will learn about that I don't even know. But I know this case in chief, what I have been on for years, and the gang stalking that I've been subject to, this is the relevant context behind trying to steal property, targeting me, which is underway through the entire state of California. But this is relevant to what you're seeing the people of the state doing, stalking in a dark parking lot, because that's what they're doing. And they're all focusing their attention on one person, that's myself. Even the direction that the demon has his vehicle parked in the parking lot and waiting until I got to that position to turn on headlights that reach across the street, that would be blinding, that those aren't headlights, it's directed light, okay? And that's the behavior of mentally ill, that's psychopathic. In the same way that the demonic pacing that is very readily seen in helicopter, but the people of the state are all pacing. All of them are pacing. These are demons. All right. It is very highly vivid when you see a helicopter flying in circles over and over again. And then when I have hundreds of videos of that same thing, and then you're understanding that it's happening also in a supernatural environment. AVSS 692. That's an Asian male, and he looks like the third party that's been gang stalking systematically at the OVITT Family Community Library. He is doing so, and I want to make sure that it's clear, he has been submitting an application to work for the terrorist organization of the Los Angeles Police Department. License CF22Y97, paper 8FZS049. 9PER 798, and perhaps gang stalking me is how he's going to get recruited, get approved. But the Los Angeles Police Department is a very heavily documented terrorist organization, which I did state in my documentation is relevant for disbanding based on the violence inflicted when I was in Los Angeles living there. The entity engaged in what is egregious. They were so confident that they were going to accomplish my murder. That's why you would provide that level of evidence. And it's all being used against the city of Ontario. It's all going to be used against the state of California, including LAPD. We've got a bunch of stalkers in 7-Eleven on camera, engaging in federal stalking, stalking with light, which again, surrounded by psychopaths. This is going to be the prosecution of the state for threatening your life while mentally sick people are targeting you. P.O.C. All right, stalking with light inside of the store, license 9HET 778, 7GSS 068. What's so demonic about what the demon-possessed do is that they're relying on the illusion of the carnal, the physical environment to be the explanation for everything that you see, and that's so that you never question anything. But when you're paying attention, this is the demonic. When I'm in the store, everywhere that I'm reaching inside of the store, like when I put my bag to the side of the register, where I put my hand, light is moving dynamic where I'm putting my hand with regard to monitoring my movement. That's how demonic this is. These are demons. These are not normal human beings. 9PER 798. Stalking in the dark, stalking a woman, stalking as an entity, none of that is normal either. And that's what they're openly doing. And a whole police department is being disbanded for it. Those demons call themselves Ontario Police in California. Oh, crossing path is, when the entity's sounding that, just like flying over my head by helicopter, license 66492K1. While the entity listens to me speak the truth, and they also know the truth that they worship my genitalia, they worship my vagina, they pace all around me as my panties go down, and they're all keeping that under surveillance. While the entity sounds what is reminiscent of a gunshot, because they're listening to me call them the cockroaches that they are. This isn't name calling, it's based on facts, contrary to what the Ontario Police Department relies on. Lies coming out of the face of the demon Tracy Banks. She just makes it up. License 6SMT122, and so do the people of the state, so do the Ontario Police Department. And this is why they're going to federal prison, because they're not just making up false information, they're making up information while they know the truth, which is called malice, while they're keeping me under surveillance. And that's also why they're being disbanded, in addition to monitoring my vagina vagina with the rest of these demons who stalk with light, which is very demonic. License 9GWK513, P.O.C. All right, so the entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct, and this is relevant to the gang stalking immigrant population who are, again, to be deported, and that is celebrated. One less terrorist, 8KCE 181. As many of them that can be removed from this country, engaging in this level of psychosis, engaging in this level of depravity, of degenerate conduct, lawlessness in concert with the supposed law enforcement, that are engaging in sexual violence as they operate as a police department. And then they're embarrassed and hostile because I tell you, and I have proof that they're sex offenders. I can't make them fly over me by helicopter as I just so happen to be making up information about monitoring them in the bathroom. No, I'm not making it up. And that's why they fly in circles in helicopter every time I do. Those are sex offenders, and they're sex offenders that like to touch all over my body with light while they're monitoring. They're telling that they're demons. All right, they're letting you know that they're demons while they do that. And this is, again, the people of the state who are the pattern of conduct. The prosecution is going to have built-in required mental examinations. License 5GCP 823, stalking at Fern and G Street. As I approach that intersection, crossing path. License 24490K1. Oh, and this is 79PAF. I know who this is. This is that demon that was, 7PAF 963. And this is the white van. These are all the demons that are engaging in gang stalking by close proximity. They're routinely engaging in the pattern of conduct of monitoring me while I'm at the TABOR professional building, sleeping at night, and they're engaged in surveillance. License 8TO8021. All right, you're paying attention to the pattern of conduct. The demons are delusional. The demons rely on witchcraft. They have faith in illusions, and all of those are being shattered when they're going to be raided, when they're going to be handcuffed, when they're going to be prosecuted, when they're going to be diagnosed. They've been putting their faith in witchcraft. And so the entity is engaging in this pattern of conduct, and their delusion with regard to being exposed, while at the same time still engaging in criminal conduct that not only it's not just the fact that I'm documenting it, it's the fact that everybody else is witnessing it. The fact that, wow, what she's stating, she's actually has proof of. And this is, again, long existing proof. This is what the entity is doing with regard to being delusional, mental illness, in addition to stalking with light, which is the outward demonstration of severe mental illness. And these are the demon-possessed that practice that. While they're monitoring, while they engage in stalking with light, you need to understand that's pursuant to surveillance, criminal monitoring. All right, and this is what Starbucks, the corporation, is engaging in. I'm going to drain the pockets of Starbucks. I'm going to prosecute. It's a sex offender and it's a domestic terrorist. And they're engaged in a pattern of threatening me while I document them, which they know all about, because Starbucks is engaged in federal stalking. I'm going to prosecute that company for engaging in criminal surveillance. It is currently 10:08 p.m. at the TABOR professional building, where now the demon-possessed are documented again on another day, following me from place to place to place. That's referred to as stalking. This is the government that's engaged in stalking. The entity is engaging in what is stalking and is doing so with the to-be disbanded Ontario Police Department. They're going to be utterly removed from existence, and clearly they don't have any. They've never been subject to this before, so you're witnessing real-time crashing out. You're witnessing meltdowns while they provide ongoing additional evidence against themselves in conformity to a pattern of conduct, which is confirming that I never made up anything ever, and that they have been gang stalking me the whole time and stealing from me and trying to artificially engineer mental illness by the system of gang stalking, which will never again be confused with the fallacy, be confused with the mental illness of that targeted individual, which is inflicting further harm, because the United States government really does target American citizens. And because they don't have the evidence to prove it, because it's satanic, because nobody perhaps had the mindset before, that's okay, part of the service that I'm providing, to document it. And how do you document it? And you have to document it in a certain way. It has to be effective. I get that. I've done it. And this is establishing precedent. But not only, and it's serving other people. But not only that, the entities engaged in this pattern of conduct, and that is also not how you are diagnosing mental illness, because it's directly rebutting that. They rely on the absence of evidence of being gang stalked as evidence of mental illness. And that's not true. And it's also not logical. That's not logical. But why does that work? Because they're corrupt. That's why it's been working. The formula has never been contested, because it's relied upon by corrupt actors who are fully engaged in targeting. And they're also maniacal psychopaths who creep around in the dark and they stalk women. They stalk them and they want to molest while they're pacing all around you, walking in circles, getting dizzy. They engage in chanting and engaging in what is stalking with multiple shadows and whatnot. They engage in aiming light all over you while they're worshiping you, while they're gang stalking. This is idolatry. They're worshiping me, and they worship my vagina as well. This is the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct. It is currently 10:10 p.m. at the TABOR Professional Building. And the demons who are worshiping me, referring themselves as the Ontario Police Department, they're going to be disbanded. All right? That's not constitutional, being worshipped by a police department that's full of demons who need mental examinations. And the prosecution of the state of California, it will be built into that prosecution, which is relevant to mental illness that is shared by a population that's gang stalking. That entire population is mentally sick. Okay? And that's how you're going to refer to what is their condition, demon possession. Okay, because that's literally, it affects the behavior, it affects the sick mindset, and that's a national security threat. They're a threat to themselves and each other. And while they exhibit mental illness through their behavior, which is criminal, pursuant to surveillance that the government has no warrant or probable cause to maintain directly, nor vicariously through the demon-possessed population who do things like I just documented, those two stalking in a parking lot in the middle of the night, waiting for me to walk by so that they can engage in their satanic ritual of just aiming light on me. Ooh, I just want to aim light on you and touch you. That's a demon. That's a freak weirdo. That's why they need mental examinations. And that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to go from preparing coffee drinks at Starbucks to having a federal case with a permanent record as a violent sex offender, a terrorist in this country. And you will be required to have mental examinations. And that's if you're not going to federal prison, where you will have routine mental examinations. None of this is exaggeration, and no witchcraft is going to stop it. None of it. It is currently 10:11 p.m. This is P.O.C. Ontario Fire Department, passive-aggressive psychopaths stalking in a fire truck, mental illness clearly exhibited therein. Crossing path at 10:24 p.m. while the demons sound loud popping. These are the Satanists that worship my vagina, who are at the same time passive-aggressive psychopaths who fantasize about harming me, but it's not going to happen, and the whole world is watching the demon-possessed being prosecuted and exposed for the long existing rumored system of gang stalking. That's an unlawful threat. Michael GERKEN and the demons of the Ontario Fire Department, they're not going to be engaged in firefighting anymore either. The entire city of Ontario is being dealt with. So while they're having fun stalking in a fire truck, these are their last days having any access to one. It's currently 10:25 p.m. and that's criminal facilitation. They are pacing like psychopaths stalking in the middle of the night. Very psychopathic while using a fire truck to do so, by the way. And they're doing so and molesting me with light, molesting my body, sex offenders that also engage in monitoring my vagina in the bathroom, sex offenders, stalking in the middle of the night, creeping in the dark, wanting to aim light all over you, sex offenders. It's 10:25 a.m. That's Michael GERKEN's handiwork. He is a terrorist leader. He's being removed from that position. And the gang stalkers of the Ontario Fire Department, very long existing fire documentation about them, and also repeatedly engaged in kidnapping as well. They are a part of the prosecution of the state, and while they demonstrate their mental illness, they are going to be subject to a prosecution as well. So the entity is, there's no difference with regard to the demon possessed. You're just witnessing the demon possessed of the fire department, the demon possessed of the police department, the demon possessed of the so-called civilization. These aren't civilians. These are barbarians. These are animals. These are demons. So they're crawling around in meat suits, but they're all stalking me, and they're all demonic spirits. It's currently 10:26 p.m. where Ontario Fire is engaging in terrorism with the people of the state. All right, it is currently 11:24 p.m. And the entity is engaged in the same demonic synchronicity that I'm describing. So the pattern of conduct is in a different setting, but it's the same specific environment, and it's the identical behavioral pattern. It's the same actor, the same stalker, the entity, the state, and the people of the state. And so the behavior of gang stalking at the TABOR Professional Building, when it's outside, you have the same demonic synchronicity as what's happening when I'm inside of the cafe of Starbucks, and the demons are walking in and out of the cafe. They're walking
inside of the cafe. They're crossing paths by obsessively going in and out of the bathrooms, and engaging in surveillance by remaining inside of the cafe. And it's surveillance because the fake sun sits over that Starbucks for the duration of the day and then moves only after I move. That's surveillance, and that's stalking while they're in and out and maintaining presence as an entity as I go back and forth. So the entity is gang stalking while psychopaths are crossing paths like I described the Ontario Fire Department engaging in as they drive by, which is stalking. They're doing so in the specific environment, which includes the sound of amplified booming noise as at the same time that they're crossing path with me. A demon that is stalking and engaging in what is a harassing method of audible activity, a threatening method of audible activity while they're engaged in federal stalking. It's relevant to Title 18. Engaged in with the intent to obstruct justice. And while the demons are pacing around me outside, this is the same pattern of conduct that they're engaging in while the entity maintains light activity, flashing light occurring out of nowhere while they're walking by you at the same time, not addressing you, not looking at you, which is only because I'm not looking for demons to address me while they're obsessively stalking me. The point is, you're analyzing the very sick and demented and psychopathic pattern of conduct, the behavior of the gang stalker. It's very, very psychopathic to stalk somebody, and at the same time your outer demeanor is supposed to exude the fact that you're ignorant of their presence, that you could be least concerned. It does not get any more maniacal than that, and it's the most passive aggressive form. That is the most aggressive. The passive aggressive. It's ironic to use that term because it is the most severely aggressive form of targeting someone because it's so deranged. It's very malicious. All right. And everything about the specific environment is screaming the truth, while the demon-possessed psychopaths, who are very delusional because not only are they gang stalking, showing their mental illness, they're being exposed on the internet, and everybody else sees that they're gang stalkers and who they're targeting and how they do it. And they continue to do it on camera, to be on the internet, and to be prosecuted in court. And they're still doing it. And they're also not stealing any of my money and property. So they're just doing it because they're demons who are obsessed with me. All right. And they're going to prison, for example, for free, or they're going to prison for whatever fee they were paid to target me, or they're going to prison for whatever money and property that they already stole from me. All right. But the entity is engaging in what is demonstrating mental illness. And that is that ongoing synchronicity amongst what is a group of people that ostensibly you are not familiar with. You don't know them, in other words, but they're stalking you and they know you. And their knowledge of you is proven through that environment, which is supernatural, and their behavior, which is getting to the intent. You're intentionally stalking somebody. You're not accidentally in their path in that specific environment. Presence is all that's required to be prosecuted for stalking. That's it. Stalking. And it's that convenient because that's how you have a population engaged in it, and you will be prosecuted where you live, where you work, where you're visiting. The government has no shelter, and no demon, no sex offender, no genital monitor is avoiding that prosecution as a sex offender because you think you're in some sort of location where you can't be prosecuted. They're delusional. Okay. So anyway, the entity's engaged in this P.O.C. and this is what they're doing while I'm outside. This is what the entity's doing when it's all concentrated inside of a building, such as the OVITT Family Community Library, such as being in transportation, like on the Omnitrans bus, such as when I am inside of a Starbucks cafe, and when I'm inside of Woodside Senior Apartments. This is what all of a city is focused on, what's going on inside of an apartment, keeping a woman under surveillance. It doesn't get any more sick and perverted than that. But that's literally what, again, and you have all these policies, all these so-called programs, all these government measures about protecting women and domestic violence. And then you're finding out that these government bodies are gang stalking at the same time. These people that are leading these programs and participating in it, they're even domestic violence victims. They've been beat up by their boyfriends and girlfriends before, and they're gang stalking. The demon possessed, it has nothing to do with their class, status, their history, where they work, what they look like, how old they are. It has nothing to do with that. And they're all engaging in this. All of them, every single last one. All right. That's the pattern of conduct that they're engaging in together. While they drive by, they're maintaining the elements of monitoring. And this is the city of Ontario stalking.
And as the city of Ontario is stalking, specifically 323 West G Street is stalking. I've already documented their license plate. Looks like an elderly white man, white t-shirt and gray shorts. He's walking outside and he's monitoring me in doing so. But I've been documenting 323 West G Street for a long time. Fake sun, engineer light, stalking with the Ontario Police Department and everything. And they're monitoring right now while they walk outside using their vehicles light activity while the people of the state are pacing on Euclid Avenue. This is criminal conduct that they don't have any shelter from a prosecution, meaning you can be prosecuted in the middle of the street where you think that you're free to do what you're not, and you're not, because you're understanding this. The government does not have under the Constitution the authority to follow you around and keep you under surveillance as though they have a warrant to investigate you. When you're being gang stalked by the state, which is what this is, the entity is doing it maliciously through a population which is supposed to never cause any suspicion to the government. And so this is the purpose of gang stalking through a population who, again, surmise that they will engage in gang stalking right in front of your face when it's the government. If the government cannot, under the Constitution, follow you around, that is, keep you under surveillance when you've committed no crime, there's no warrant or probable cause, the government will not do it through the people of the state who are engaged in that same pattern of conduct. That's the malice of gang stalking. All right, it's the criminal conduct of the government. And it is the demonic activity that Satan is engaging in. And Satan is using the government. Satan is using any and every person. With regard to a legal framework, it happens to be the local body of government in Ontario, California, and everybody that lives in the city. Okay, mental illness is being exhibited right now. This demon that's driving at 323 West G Street, he just engaged in what is pacing 4 separate times, and he's doing it again. He got in his car to drive forward and backward, and he's doing it again. This is a demon that's pacing. Satan compelled him to get up out of his house, to get inside of his vehicle, and pace around back and forth just to monitor me. This is the things that they do when my panties are down and all the demons are together aware of it, and they are pacing even inside of the bathroom with regard to monitoring, making all manner of noise, that which is also amplified in the bathroom. That's the mental health patient that is also a predator obsessing over my vagina. All right, that's P.O.C. This demon-possessed person literally came out of their house just to pace in their vehicle back and forth and 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 back and forth. And now he's just standing on the sidewalk. This is demon possession. And that is the spirit of Satan that is obsessed with me. And he uses the bodies of all the people around me to target. But it's going to be a prosecution. So it's not just any longer just spiritual warfare. Now it's judgment in the physical, and the demon-possessed are being prosecuted. It's currently 11:32 p.m. I just wanted to give context to that. And I'm going to go ahead and get the license plate of this psychopath that just engaged in that. I've already documented 323 West G Street. I'm going to go ahead and document it again. They're engaged stalking with impunity by engaging the P.O.C. by residents. 323 West G Street in Ontario, California, 91762. Criminal monitoring on your property where you live is state action, and it's criminal. License 8JUL 685. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently 11:34 p.m. and the documentation about the people of the state gang stalking, they are monitoring. So this is spiritual. With regard to the inspiration behind the criminal system that's underway. And it's relevant to terrorists and violent sex offenders and criminals, corrupt criminals, government actors such as Jason Isaac Fields, who I have heavily referred to. And that's with regard to, not in any endearing way, this is somebody that is maintaining a sexual relationship with a mother figure of mine, as disgusting and perverted as that is. This is because this person is a demon, and this person obviously in their life is some sort of dysfunction where you would engage in sexual activity with a mother figure. And not only that, a mother figure of somebody that you were he was always a fake friend. This was a demon. Everybody in my life were placed there. I've been subject to surveillance by the government, and I began documenting it upon my becoming aware of it. The moment that I got into the legal field, to be honest with you, when I passed the California bar, it's like Satan was just like,
Absolutely not. And that's when I became aware of the fact that I was being targeted. And a lot of things are placed in the proper context when I became aware of that. A lot of the challenges that I faced, but unbeknownst to me, and I pressed through those challenges, but now those challenges are placed in proper context, understanding what the state of California has been doing my entire life, and what Tracy Banks has been doing my entire life, which is having sex with people that I formerly associated with, like Jason Isaac Fields, who held a stake in stealing from me and targeting me with his sex partner, this fake mother, Tracy Banks. And Jason Isaac Fields is fully engaged in kidnapping on May 29, 2025. Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields are engaged in a sexual relationship long existing. Jason Isaac Fields engaged in gang stalking me for years, chiefly through federal stalking, meaning talking on the phone. When you're being gang stalked, when you're on the phone, you're engaging in the elements of monitoring. So, and sharing that with the demons that are in relevant position to me. And so he was sharing a satanic bond with Tracy Banks for years, while I would be on the phone with him, and Tracy Banks is gang stalking me while we're living together. And he's monitoring me, and he's monitoring me with Tracy, and he's also having a secret sexual relationship with her, something that he never told me about. I mean, I also didn't know that he was homosexual. I also did not know that he was demon possessed. So there's a lot about this person that is he's a whole charlatan. But nonetheless, he's also engaged in what is entirely corrupt, because this is somebody that is purportedly in government and engaged in the corrupt system of federal group stalking and monitoring, and it's not distinct, like I have spoken very extensively about before. Gang stalking, law enforcement, that's an oxymoron, and you're going to be removed from law enforcement because it's insufficient to just fire somebody. It's not an ordinary crime, it's terrorism. And it's that which is done in furtherance of murder and kidnapping. It is a permanent disqualification from law enforcement, and it is a permanent removal from law enforcement, so that you can't go to some other state, or you can't gain access to law enforcement through some other agency. The point is to remove them permanently. Terrorists that are not natural born citizens should be deported. Terrorists that are a part of law enforcement agencies should be permanently removed from law enforcement. And those that are engaged in kidnapping go to federal prison, and that agency is to be disbanded. Now, with regard to Jason Isaac Fields, I want to be clear. The entity is monitoring, and this is the criminal conduct that's directly tailored to this sex partnership, this duo that is targeting not only Tracy Banks, but every lie that came out of her face. She's kidnapping me with her sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields, who has a secret marriage to me that only exists on paper. I know nothing about it, but for my acknowledging it, but I knew nothing about it. Nobody ever told me, in the same way that nobody ever told me about a conservatorship either. Nobody ever told me about real property. Nobody ever told me about money that belongs to me either. And this is the motive behind the sexual relationship that essentially this escort. Jason Isaac Fields is akin to living a life as a male hooker, having sex and engaging in having sex with anything and anybody to gain material wealth in his life. And this is somebody that unfortunately I regret ever speaking to, but I did not know him extensively in any serious, deep relationship, and thank God. But this is a pervert. This is somebody that was interested in having a sexual relationship with me while he was having sex with my mother. And that's demonic. That sexual perversion, that's of Satan. And he is a pervert for that. And he's also, but moreover, it's relevant to criminal conduct. The sexual activity of the people of the state that are in my life, this is not just going through, oh, they were having sex. And I do not care about what these maggots do with their genitalia. I could not care less. The reason why it's relevant is because it's relevant to those that have been targeting me unbeknownst to me, that have been targeting me with knowledge of the fact, have been incentivized, have a motive to profit from my demise. And the fact that people like Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, who I never introduced physically, where did they meet and at what point did their genitalias become introduced to each other? Because I never introduced them. And Jason was living in Las Vegas, Nevada. At least that's what he told me. This is a fake person, so who knows what are the facts. But when I would visit in Las Vegas, he was there where I believed he resided, okay? So he did move to California, never speaking of the fact that he was having sex with this 50-year-old lady. At that time, now she's in her 60s. But he's having sex with a 50-year-old woman because he thinks he's going to benefit financially from targeting me with her. And this is why they're together. Understand that she has a secret conservatorship over me, and her sex partner has a secret marriage with me on paper. Understand the motive behind this sex partnership that is targeting me together. And I say all this to say that everything that I'm documenting and what I stated before, I mean now. Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks both belong in federal prison. And not only that, this is everything that I'm documenting, and their status, the role that they have played, is the very evidence that is supporting what justice also includes. Not only are they subject to a federal prison, but I am entitled, as justice requires, the protection of federal orders to mandate that Jason Isaac Fields, Tracy Banks never come into my presence. And if they ever did, once I get justice, then they're going to federal prison. Period. That's a federal case, meaning I am interested in and I am requiring the law, federal law, to bar them, stalkers, would-be murderers, okay, thieves, terrorists, in other words, terrorists that went to this extent to steal money, okay, to steal money, having sex with an old woman, being a fake friend of mine just for money. And I want, justice requires, and any American citizen would want, what is security from the government, which is federal orders, just like you would in a superior court, analogous to that, a restraining order. But this is beyond a restraining order. Federal law that, again, they would be in violation of were they to ever come into my presence. That's based on the size of the crime. This is gang stalking. This is state action. And a state actor that's engaging in this pattern of conduct against me is never again to come into my presence and avoid being arrested for it under federal law. And that's what I'm stating the evidence supports. When I'm documenting on a daily basis, and I'm being gang stalked right now at 11:42 at night, this is evidence that's supporting that Jason Isaac Fields never come into my presence and never avoid an arrest for violation of federal law if he does. Okay, this is supporting the fact that he has no right to be in my presence, and he belongs in federal prison for stealing from me already, stealing from me upon gang stalking. So that's conspiring my death with the government just to steal money and property from me. That's why he belongs in federal prison. And in addition to that, federal law to mandate that he never be in my presence. Okay, and that's exactly what I am unequivocally stating in the evidence that is the P.O.C, because that is everything that I intend to bank on, okay, that I intend to receive, that I intend to get as a matter of justice. And there is nothing that's changing my mind, and there is nothing that any gang stalker, including the government, as I am documenting, as I'm enforcing my rights, as I'm the one that's exposing what it is that I'm subject to, the government is also inclined to hear what it is that I am demanding as justice as well, and that is to keep this this sex offender, this psychopath, Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks, out of my presence as a matter of law, and that they are subject to what is an additional federal case were they to ever come into my presence again, okay? And that's upon being prosecuted as a domestic terrorist, a gang stalker. It is currently 11:43 p.m. This is P.O.C.